Hello everyone, welcome to Triaright. This is Pack 365. Myself, Sujit. In this session, we are going to learn what is chaining. Guys, to understand this chaining, interference is important. That's why after completion of our inheritance, then only I just need to start this advanced topic. Okay. Guys, to understand this chaining, now I try to take a real-time example. Suppose, guys, if you are using any smartphone, okay. So inside the smartphone, you are every time you are just try to use any apps just like your bank also if I try to use your WhatsApp, Instagram, any apps, they have some features are there, means the version, they have some new versions are there, so you need to update at that time. So how it going to happen in our apps? Now I try to see now. Suppose every time I just try to take the bank example. That's why for this chaining also we try to take the same example. Suppose if my requirement will be I want to create a bank account. After creating bank account, every time I don't go to bank to check all my statement. So there are some apps are there for my bank. Okay, like that. Whenever we try to see that particular bank updated version means suppose when the Indian bank or SBI bank they are created their apps, then they have some versions are there. Means when they launch, they have keep the version like 0.001, then they have some updated then 010 just like that means if they have some new features they need to update. So how it going to happen? By the help of this chaining process, because chaining process says that this is the process of accessing parent class property or functionality from child class when parent class method or the functionality are overridden with the child class method. Suppose if a guys just see whenever your bank will be created, as of now you have only two credential means you have giving the name and phone number in the app. Okay, they have not using all the credential. So after in the version 2 they have want your Aadhaar card also, the PAN card also. Forget about the offline, I'm talking about the apps. So guys, if you think like that in the previous version what is the data they will be deleting? No guys, they were not deleting, they have just updating means they have provide the update version means the previous version are overridden with the new version means previous version we can say that updated with this new version means the data are there but we have to use a new version. At that time also we are writing the same logic in the backend, that is called chaining. Okay, so chaining says that whenever we have to use this chaining concept we must have two classes. Okay, because we have tried to access parent class property or functionality from child class, because whenever you are trying to use any new features it means you have the updated version means you are using in the updated version through the previous one. That's why here it will be tell that accessing parent class property or functionality from child class when parent class method or the functionality are overridden with the child class method. Okay, so chaining. So this is all about our chaining. So guys, to achieve chaining we have two options. Either we can use the constructor chaining or method chaining. Why I'm just trying to tell that constructor chaining and method chaining? Guys, we know that in our object oriented programming every time it deals with our class and object. So guys, what is object? It is a real world entity which the collection of states and behavior. State means our property. Okay, so how to create property? We have common property, uncommon property means every time we are just try to use the constructor for to define our uncommon property. That's why here we are using the constructor chaining or method chaining. Method means the functionality, because what is functionality? What is the operation we are trying to perform? If I try to deposit, if I try to withdraw, that's why we have tried to update that particular thing. So to achieve chaining, we have only two options. First one called our constructor and second one called our method chaining. So now first we are just try to write some points, then only we can discuss how the constructor chaining will going to work. In the upcoming session we are trying to understand how the method chaining also will going to work. Okay, so first we are to write the theory point for our chaining. So what is chaining? So this is the process. So this is the process of accessing the property, okay, accessing the properties or method from parent class, okay. So accessing parent class, okay. So here I need to write from parent class to, okay, from child class, from parent class to child class, okay, to child class when parent class method or functionality are overridden. Okay, why we can say that overridden means the previous data are updated, okay, overridden with the child class method. Okay, so this is all about our chaining. To use the chaining, okay, to use the chaining we have two option, okay. What's their option will be? First one called our constructor chaining, okay, constructor chaining, and second one called our method chaining, okay. So now we're trying to discuss about constructor chaining. So how the constructor chaining will going to work? What is constructor chaining? Each and everything we're trying to see now. So guys, what is constructor chaining? This process of accessing parent class constructor from child class constructor when parent class constructor is overridden with the child class constructor. Means in the previously we are just telling that the property and the functionality. So now in the constructor we are only accessing the constructor part. So how to create constructor? By the help of our double underscore init double underscore. So first we are try to write the code how to use that, then only you can get a clear picture on that how to use that particular thing, then only we can write the theoretical point. Okay, so guys, if we see how to use this constructor by the help of this constructor chaining, then constructor chaining is done in two ways. Means if you are trying to accessing all the constructor property from parent class, we have two options. First option called our, you can use your super class method or you can use your class name. So how both are going to work, we are trying to see by each thing. Okay, so first we are try to use our super class method. Okay, so guys, whenever we are try to use this chaining concept, first we are try to create two class. So here I am taking the bank example. Means first I am taking the first bank version and second one called our bank second version. Okay, so here I am writing class bank version 1. Okay, so here I am taking bank version 1. So here we are try to use the, we can say that constructor chaining. So we don't need to create the common property. So we can directly use that particular thing. So as of now in my bank version first one, we have only two details. That is called our name and phone number. So here we are taking the same. So we know that every time our constructor will taking one mandatory argument, that is called our self. So here it will be taking two mandatory thing. First one called our name and second one called our phone. Okay, so after getting both the things, we know that whenever we are trying to create the constructor will be used for our uncommon property. Means these property are not same for every user. So first we are trying to initialize. So how to initialize every time? So here you are using self dot name equal to name. Every time first it will be storing, then only we can use. So then the next one, self dot phone equal to phone. So as of now, we are just trying to get that particular thing. So now, so first we are trying to use this super class. Okay. So guys, make sure that whenever you are trying to use your superclass method in our constructor chaining, then inheritance is mandatory and we should mention the address. Okay, how to mention? So it tells that now we are trying to use the superclass. Superclass says that you need to use the inheritance. So how to inheritance? By the creating the class. Okay, so here we are trying to create the second class called our bank version 2 and it must inherit. So from where? From the first version. After I'm inheriting, now my requirement will be I want to add two more extra detail. That one called our Aadhaar and the second one called our PAN number. So here also we are trying to initialize by the help of our constructor, because here also we are trying to use the constructor chaining. Okay, so here we are trying to use that super method. So as of now we are already seeing that things. Now we are trying to add extra things. So here we need to add Aadhaar comma PAN. Okay, so now if you see already we are assigning both the things in my previous. So if I am using the inheritance means it will acquiring all the property from bank version 1. So now here how to acquire that particular thing. So here we are trying to use the superclass. So to use the superclass, first you need to write your super method, then you need to pass your parenthesis, then here you need to use your double underscore init. Here you need to pass your previous two variable. So here I need to pass name comma phone number. So this is the way we can use our super method. So make sure that whenever you are using your super method, every time the class must be inherit. If you are not using the inheriting, it will be gives you the error. Okay, we are trying to see. So now we are trying to only assigning the rest value, because by the help of this super, we can access all the data. Okay, so now we are trying to store the new one. So self.aadhaar. Okay, self.aadhaar and the next one called our self.pan. Means in the real time also whenever our new version will be coming, the previous one will be overridden. Means it will be not deleting that particular things. Guys, right? So as of now we are using, so now we are trying to create that particular object. So as of now we are already see that particular things, guys, right? So now we are trying to create object, because after creating class we can create n number of objects. So here I'm trying to create one object, so that is called obj1. So guys, we every time know that in our inheritance concept, every time you just create the class based on my recent class. So the recent class will be bank version 2. So here I need to create bank version 2. In the real time also, whenever the updated version will be coming, you need to update, then only use. That's why here I'm trying to use the bank version 2. So here you need to pass all your detail. Okay, so here you need to pass king. Okay, we can say that here I'm passing Sujit. Okay, so here I am passing Sujit. The next one will be called our phone number. So here I am passing phone number, then Aadhaar number. Then here I need to pass the PAN number. Okay. So here I am passing PAN number. Okay. Now guys, if I try to run this one, if it will be not giving you the error. So guys, just see. Means we can get that particular things. Okay. Now if I try to get some value, so how to do that? Now we are trying to see now, because now my requirement will be I want to get the PAN number. Okay, so it is possible or not. Now we are trying to see now. So guys, just see how to do that. We have to use every time we know that whenever we are want to get some uncommon property, every time we are just try to use our object reference. So here also I try to use the object reference called obj1 dot name. So now if I'm trying to run this one, so guys, just see it will be give me Sujit, but this Sujit name will be available in my bank version 1. But whenever I am trying to create for the object for bank version 2 also, it will be acquiring by the help of my super method. Okay, so now we are trying to understand how the control flow will going to work. Okay, so Whenever you are writing any code, okay, so first your controller, or we can say that first the object will be getting created. When the object is created, then constructor automatically get executed. Okay. After it executed, it comes to my bank version 2. Why? Because we are creating for the object for our bank version 2. Then the constructor is executed. Means here the constructor will be start executing. Then it will be checking super class, means this, because we know that this is called our base class and this is called our super class. Okay, so here we are trying to check, then the super class is executed, then you check that the bank version 2 is inherit or not, because here we are using this super method. Okay, if you are not using the inheritance, suppose if you are not using the inheritance, so guys, just see, if I try to run this one here, it will be gives me a error. Guys, just see, object dot constructor take exactly one argument, that is called the instant of initialization. Okay, because this super will be taking the help of my inheritance. If you are not passing that particular inheritance, it will be not finding that particular address. Okay, here if you are not passing, then it will be give you the error. If it will be finding that bank version 1, first it will be taking the previous one data. After it will be getting the previous one data, then it will be again come to here. Means after executing the bank version 1, then it come back to my bank version 2, and it will be gives the desired output. Okay, so this is the way the control flow will going to work. So now we are just try to write the theoretical point and about our class name, how the we can use the class name in the upcoming session we are try to discuss. Okay, so now we are try to write the theoretical point. So how the constructor chaining will going to work. So it says that the process, okay, the process of accessing, okay, process of accessing parent class, okay, parent class constructor, because every time we are just try to use here the constructor chaining. So the process of accessing parent class constructor from child class constructor, okay, child class constructor. Guys, if you see here also, every time we are just calling the parent class from the child class. That's why here I'm writing the process of accessing parent class constructor from child class constructor when parent class constructor is overridden. When parent class constructor, okay, parent class constructor is overridden, okay, overridden with the child class constructor. Okay, so this is all about our constructor training. Okay, so now we are trying to dealing with the how to get that. So the constructor, okay, so we can say that constructor chaining is done. Okay, so constructor chaining is done by two ways. Okay, the first one we can say that by using of our superclass. Okay, by using superclass, and the second one called our class name. Okay, the class name in the upcoming session we are trying to discuss, but I want to give the syntax for my superclass. Okay, so here you need to write the superclass. First you need to provide your super keyword, then here you need to provide your parenthesis. After that, here you need to write your constructor. So double underscore init, double underscore, then again parenthesis. So this is the syntax of my super class method whenever we are trying to dealing with our constructor chaining. So that's all for this session. In the upcoming session, we are trying to discuss how the class name will going to work whenever we are trying to accessing the constructor chaining. Okay. Thanks for watching Triaright.